This is DRF Race of the Day. Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF Race of the Day for Friday, January the 22nd. Race number 8 at Oaklawn Park. It's opening day at Oaklawn. And our DRF Race of the Day, as we take a look at the field, is the first step on the road to the Arkansas Derby. The $150,000 Smarty Jones Stakes, carded as race number 8. You can download free Formulator Pass performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Access them, handicap along with us. Mike, there are some horses in here that are just looking to prove that they belong on the Derby trail.
Yeah, these horses are still, a lot of them are still lightly raced, Dan. A lot of them obviously still have an awful lot to prove here in races like this. And they're both going to have to deal with, these two horses, the two morning line favorites for a couple of big name trainers. I mean, those horses, they're fastest on the way in, and it feels like they're going to take a lot of beating in here.
Throw up the time form US pace projector for this race. Short stretch of the 2-turn mile at Oaklawn Park. Caddo River drew the outside post, but this horse has speed. And I just think the key to this horse's continued improvement is distance. He wants to go long. He's fast out of the gate. He was impressive for Brad Cox last time out. I think Moonlight Strike's going to be forwardly ridden.
Yeah, I thought Moonlight Strike would be forward ridden as well. Caddo River, he could certainly make the lead, Dan. He's got plenty of speed. I agree with you. It feels like distance is what he really wants, and they're going to get him around 2 turns here for the first time.
Martini Blue, the number 1, is a son of McLean's Music, who made his career debut in this race, going 2 turns at Hawthorne, and he did some nice things. He stayed up close to the pace. He's going after this 4-5 horse Dreamkeeper down on the inside. He goes right by him with no sweat, and he goes on to win. He's going to have to likely improve from a buyer speed figure standpoint, but why not? This is only his second lifetime start. He draws a nice inside post for good connections.
I agree with all that stuff. I don't see why, maybe he perhaps can't take another step forward here. Now, he's probably stepping into a different world as far as competition goes. I realize the horse that he beat there was 4-5, but I doubt that he's, that good of a horse. That was more circumstantial, it feels like. But this horse, he did do some good things, Dan, because the runner up there, who was the big favorite, did try to break that race open around the second turn, and Martini Blue kept right up with him, put him away through the stretch. I can see this horse taking another step forward, and yeah.
Another horse shipping down from Hawthorne and making his seasonal debut is the 2 Lawlessness. This horse ran 3rd in this race, going 6 furlongs. Lawlessness will stretch out for the first time in the Smarty Jones Stakes. It looks like he has a look at it here at about the 3/16 pole, Mike. He's going to finish evenly. The winner came back to run 3rd in a little stakes race at Tampa Bay with the 71 buyer.
Yeah, this is a horse who very clearly is going to have to improve quite a bit to get involved in this race, and we'll see if he can do it. I mean, I can certainly see him doing better with more distance, Dan. He's just going to have to get a lot faster.
Number 3, Cowan, did some nice things last year, especially on the turf. For Steve Asmussen, second in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint. He was sort of a late-running sprinter, and they tried him on dirt last time out in the Springboard Mile, stretching out. He kind of made the first run in a race that fell apart. I thought it was a solid performance. I'm not sure how much upside he has or how far he wants to go, but I thought that was a useful race switching to dirt.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he ran fine in that race too. And, the 84 buyer speed figure suggests he's going to be tough right back in this race. Overall, I don't love him, Dan. That's, one of the only reasons that when we get to the picks, I don't have him on top if he's going to be the favorite. He ran fine last time. It's just not a race that, blew me away by any stretch of the imagination. And I still sort of feel like this horse is a turf sprinter down the line.
Asmussen also has the 4 Big Thorn. Big Thorn did some nice things at Gulfstream West over the fall. A couple of victories, and you could just argue he was overmatched last time out by Mutasabek, the Todd Pletcher trained runner in the Mucho Macho Man Stakes. Now, he's a son of the big beast. It'll be interesting to see how far he eventually wants to go, but this horse might be a little bit dirtied up.
He could be. I wonder about distance for him. I mean, the other way to look at it, as opposed to saying he's dirty up, is to say, he beat Florida Breds in 2 races in a row. No big deal. They stepped him up last time and tested him, and it wasn't even close, Dad. He didn't run well at all in that race.
Here's Hardly Swayed, the number 5. He's the other 2-time winner in the field, along with Big Thorn. And Moonlight Strike. Let's watch his most recent effort, Hardly Swayed, dominating. And Mahoning Valley going 3/4 of a mile. He just spurted clear, was simply too fast for these horses, and he's on his way. Now, it's going to be a lot tougher from a pace standpoint, obviously from a class standpoint this time around.
It is. We'll see if he's up for the challenge in this race. He looks good winning his last 2 starts. I'm not going to knock this horse. He obviously has to improve again, but who's to say that he can? He did win without the lead 2 starts back.
Let's watch Moonlight Strike's most recent race, 1-turn mile at Gulfstream. First start against winners for Safi Joseph. He turns into the stretch with the lead. It looks like he's on his way. The number 2 horse, Kiger, on the outside is going to make this very close. Moonlight Strike is kind of crying out for the wire. And I don't know, Mike, watching the races this day at Gulfstream, you wanted to be forward, you wanted to be down on the rail. I think Moonlight Strike had the best of it.
Yeah, me too. I mean, to me, he was just pretty hard to like off of that race. Not that, he got it done. I'll give him all the credit for that. And it's 2 wins in a row, but he doesn't strike me as a horse who's going to get better with more distance and around 2 turns in this race. We'll see what happens with him. Then I don't want to knock him too much because it's not that strong of a race, but I was not inspired by his win last time.
In some ways, Cato River's the horse to beat for Brad Cox because the way he won his final start at 2 makes you think there's something here. And yes, he went to the lead, but he set a legitimate pace and he was just cruising under the wire. He won by about 10. And that race it's not like it came out of nowhere. His first 2 starts were good, but when I look at this pedigree, I think distance.
Yeah, me too. I mean, he seems like a horse who all along was meant to, get better with more distance. It feels like that's happening. I don't have any real knock on his race last time. He did get control of that pace. But he never really gave that field a chance behind him. And as you pointed out already, he ran in some pretty good fields in New York to start his career, and he ran well in both of those races. I don't really know what to say, Dan. I feel like Brad Cox, maybe this horse won't win, but I think he's found a really good spot for this horse right here.
Well, let's take a look at our top picks for the Friday race of the day, the Smarty Jones Stakes on opening day at beautiful Oaklawn. That's where you're going, Mike. Cato River on the outside, the number 7 might get to the front. I'm hoping Moonlight Strike softens him up just a little bit. And maybe it'll set things up for Cowan. Like you, I'm a bit dubious because he was so good on the turf. I wonder about distance. I wonder about surface, but I want to give him one chance against this kind of field. And I have a feeling the Brad Cox horse might take some money.
I agree with you that Brad Cox's horse is going to take money in here. I just didn't really, know what to do, Dan. I prefer of the 2 favorites. I just prefer the 7 to the 3. We'll see how that all works out. To me, I didn't feel like this was that much of a betting race as far as I was concerned. Maybe I'll try to get the 1 in there. I thought the 1 was at least a little interesting. I thought he ran well first time out. He's got a great post. Maybe he gets in there somewhere at a price.
7136 for Mike, 3764 for me. It's the Friday race of the day. It's the Smarty Jones. Best of luck.